I thought we were going to have the other governor and candidates here, so I was going to give this big speech about how everybody's great, and let's whoever you vote for, as long as you don't vote for Abbott, it's good with me, and you know the catchy stuff that we all say, right? But they're not here, so now I don't have to do that. I can just talk about my candidate. So it's none other than Allen West for governor. It's an old saying, it says, giants walk amongst us. This man is a giant in my eyes. And he doesn't know it, but he's a mentor of mine, and he doesn't even mentor me. But from afar he does. From the first time I've heard him speak, went and looked up his platform, started watching his videos on YouTube, how he stood flat-footed and went to colleges and spoke the truth in liberal universities. And I just fell in love with his message, fell in love with what he did. I saw how the communist agenda attacked him in Carolina and how he fought that. And now he's here in Texas to fight for us. And so I'm on board. I'm sold in, I'm bought in, my family's invested, and I am voting for Allen West for governor of Texas. And if you know it's right, you do the same thing too. But again, anybody but Abbott is cool with me. Yeah! So with no further ado, I would like to bring to the stage Allen West.
How's everyone doing out there? You know, in the Bible it says, where two or more are gathered in my name, there I will be in the midst. And, I'm counting. I think we got more than two. So he is here with us, and he is blessing us. He opened up the skies, and we have this beautiful Texas February day. So God bless you all for taking the time out of your schedules to be here. You know, the title of this rally says, Save Texas. So how do you save Texas? You save Texas first and foremost by protecting this border and making sure that Texas remains a sovereign state. You save Texas by making sure that the people in Washington, D.C. understand, as it says in the Declaration of Independence, that free and independent states created these United States of America. You protect Texas by going back and telling the people in Washington, D.C. what it says in the 10th Amendment. All of the powers not delegated to the federal government are reserved to the and to the people. Okay, let me say that again. All of the powers not reserved to the federal government are reserved to the state and to the people. We've got to reestablish that, because when I sit back and look at the unconstitutional actions that are coming down from this administration, I served 22 years in the United States Army, and to have a Secretary of Defense come down and tell us, the state of Texas, that our National Guard has to get a jab in the arm. Well, it's very simple. We just sent a one-word response back to Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, with whom I served with at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. It's the same word that General McAuliffe sent back to the Germans at a place called Bastogne when they asked him to surrender. Just one word. We're going to send that word back to Washington, D.C. Nuts. We are not going to allow anyone to come down here and usurp who we are and our sovereignty. But it starts at that border. It means that we have to protect our law enforcement, like you see these DPS agents here, who a DPS agent just recently lost his life down securing us. It means that we have to protect you each and every day in your homes. We're standing in the capital of Texas, Austin, Texas, which was just recently named the third highest increase in the United States of America for murder. We saw what just happened in Houston, Texas, where a constable was shot and killed by someone here illegally. To save Texas means we got to restore law and order. We cannot have people that are pushing out violent criminals and felons. To save Texas means that these judges who are releasing these criminals, well, guess what the Texas State Constitution says in Article 15, Section 8? The governor of Texas can initiate impeachment proceedings against these judges that are releasing these criminals. That's how you're going to save Texas. Texas should not be the #1 state in the United States of America for human and sex trafficking. Houston and Dallas should not be the top 2 cities in the United States of America for sex trafficking. We've got to protect our children. We got to protect our children in the womb. Got to protect our children from this child gender modification sickness that is out there. There should not be puberty blockers, hormonal therapies being given to our children. There should not be these surgeries done upon our children. We got to protect our children and their education. Texas should not be 46 or 47 in the entire country in education. But instead, we got this cultural Marxism. We got this critical race theory, cultural competency action plan. We got the social and emotional learning. Let me tell you something. If you are an ISD and you want to teach our kids crap, Texas taxpayer dollars aren't coming to you. If you're a college and university and want to teach toxic masculinity and all of this other craziness, instead of making sure that we're raising and producing the next generation of critical thinkers and people that can go out there and participate in the growing Texas economy, Texas taxpayer dollars aren't coming to you. That's how you save Texas, by protecting the future generations of Texas. And we also got to protect you. You know, in the middle of the debacle that was Afghanistan, that's where Joe Biden came out and stood there in the White House with this nonsense about everyone has to get a shot in their body. Show me in the Constitution of the United States of America where it says in Article 1, Section 8, that the federal government has a right to protect your health. It doesn't. The federal government is supposed to protect your rights. And our rights are being violated. And we've got to stand up for that. And that's why, as governor, I won't just sign an executive order, because executive orders don't mean anything. We're going to pass it into law. That your medical freedom is protected. That no one is going to mandate to you what has to be injected into your body. Especially when you have hundreds of thousands of people coming across our border, and they're not being told they have to get anything injected into them. They're being shot all across the country, all throughout the state of Texas. We're going to make sure that your medical freedom is protected. We're going to make sure that your individual freedom is protected. We're going to make sure that all of your liberties are protected. That's how you save Texas. And the last and most important thing about saving Texas, we're going to protect the Judeo-Christian faith heritage in Texas. Secular humanists, you don't run the show in Texas. Progressive socialists, you don't run the show here in Texas. Marxists, you don't run the show here in Texas. Texas is about the people, and Texas is about the foundations and fundamentals that made this the greatest state and the greatest nation that the world has ever known. But let me close on this. On September the 17th of 1787, Benjamin Franklin came out of Constitution Hall, and he was met by a woman, a Philadelphia socialite by the name of Mrs. Powell. And Mrs. Powell asked Franklin a very simple question that resonates to today. She said, well, doctor, what is it that we have? A monarchy or a republic? He said, a republic if you can keep it. Texas was established as a republic, which means that your individual rights, freedoms, and liberties are so important. It means that the rule of law is the means by which we operate. If we are going to protect and defend the Texas Republic, it means that you have to understand that you live in the Texas Republic. Early voting is coming up, 14 February. The election day is March the 1st. And I want you to think about the importance of this election day. Because the next day after March the 1st is March the 2nd. That's Texas Independence Day. The only state in the United States of America that has its own Declaration of Independence is your state, is our state, is the great state of Texas. And if you're going to save Texas, it's a republic if you decide to keep it. Each and every one of you has a challenge. When you leave here today, talk to 10, talk to 15, talk to 20 to make sure that they're out doing early voting 14 to 25 February or on election day. Because we want to make sure that you defend the Texas Republic. And remember that this great state capital stands higher and taller than the capital of the United States of America. God bless you all, and God bless Texas.
Wow, that man is on fire, isn't he?